morning, everyone. This is Tony from our Homestead Skills. Well, today I am making more chicken stock. Well, actually, it's already made. Now, a lot of you know that I constantly make chicken stock, or what we might call bone broth. You know, it depends on how you want to label it. Now, Mark has started taking the few that I have put into the pantry, and I wanted to make sure that there was plenty left in the pantry when I'm gone for a few months, so that when I get back we do have some immediately if we want it. Now, it is, the weather's changing, and this is why he's starting to rate it. Now, this is the package that I buy for those of you that are interested, and they call it chicken bone, and basically it's the carcass is stripped of all the, you know, all the good meat. They rip off the breast meat, and you can see that there's still some meat on this. And believe it or not, if you actually wanted to make soup out of this, you can get a fair amount of meat off it. We're just using it for the broth at this point. So I did buy 3 packages of this. This should last me for the next month, even if he has broth every day. And what is left over, I will just can up before we leave, so that, actually at this point I'm just going to make it up to put it in the refrigerator, and this is going back in the freezer right now. Okay, so I've had this simmering overnight. I just bring it to first boil, just bring it up to a boil, then turn it down immediately. I don't let it boil, and you get this nice clear color. The only thing I added was an onion with, you know, 1 layer of peel on it to help with the color. Other than that, that's it. Mark prefers to add his own salt when he's drinking it or when we're using it for cooking. So I don't add any other vegetables. This is strictly bone broth with an onion. So right now I'm just going to can this up to go in the refrigerator. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is strain most of the big bones and chicken bits out. So this is the first strain. I really don't want bones left in the bone broth chicken stock, so we want to strain this nice and clean. Yeah, and as I said, there's, you know, it's amazing how much meat you could pull off this if you actually wanted to, but it is a bit of a chore to do so. Okay, so I've got all the large pieces out, and I'm going to set this aside. Well, I'm going to let it drain there. Set it aside and let it drain some more. And I have got a whole bunch of pint jars. Now Mark prefers the pint jar so that he can just pour one out. Fills his big mug, and that's what he has in the morning. So rather than put it in a quart jar, I will accommodate him and put it in the pint. So now we go to the second strain, and I've got my funnel, and I've got another strainer here so that we catch any other bones or anything else that might be in there that we don't want in the jars. Okay, let me get... So I guess the first thing I'm going to do is fill up his mug so he can have his bone broth this morning. Okay. That'll do. Now I'll set this aside and start filling up the jars. And it's a beautiful clear color, and you get that from simmering extremely slowly. You know, if it gets cloudy if you don't, and I filled that up too much. This is really hot. Now, I don't need to worry about headspace because these are going in the refrigerator. I'm not going to can them up. At the rate he goes through it, they'll be gone. He'll have one a day and they'll be good for a week in the fridge. 10 days even. So, let's get these jarred up. Don't have to worry about the jars as long as they're clean. Now he will reheat these again in the morning, but this is just to be able to preserve them for the time being that they require here. Okay. Now, I'm going to use plastic cups just because it's so much more convenient, and that is very hot. Let's try this again. See how beautiful that is? Absolutely gorgeous. Okay, so I've got my lids here already. More than I need. I think I have more jars than what I need. But let's just continue with this process until we're all done. Okay. And I am catching little bits, no bones yet, but you never can tell when you're going to get to finding bones in the bottom of this. Well, here is where the bones are. And that's not quite a full jar, but that's okay. I'm going to see if there's any that have strained out of this to fill this up. And that's close enough. So, we definitely have some bones that are caught in this strainer. Okay, so at this point, just top it all up. I'm going to wait for these to cool a little bit before I put them in the refrigerator. And that's where I like these plastic cups. So much easier when you're just storing things rather than... Not only that, I'm doing this because the lids have gotten more expensive and they cost more every time you turn around. So doing this to save lids. I mean, I used to can these up you pressure can them and put them away in the pantry all the time, but at the rate he goes through them, it's such a waste, such a waste. So, but to keep him happy, I put it in the pints so that when he wants to fill his mug, 1 pint will do the job for him. Okay. Okay, so now I have 11, well, 4, 8, 10, and 11 with the mug jars of chicken stock for Mark, and we're going to be here at least another 30 days, so I'll probably be making all of the chicken stock that I have, and if there's any that he doesn't drink and gets left over, then I'll pressure can that and put it in the pantry. So that's it for now.